So we're excited to have as our guest today, Justine Villaruz, Marketing Director at Arden Courts in Geneva. Welcome, Justine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored for this opportunity, and definitely a subject I'm most passionate about. So thank you for having me.
We we had coffee this morning with Justine and got to know her a little better, and we appreciate that opportunity to learn more. If you would, please start by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself and also kind of your role and your kind of career at Arden Courts.
Sure. Well, basically, my role is the marketing director role. I'm here to help support families and caregivers while they're transitioning their loved one to thinking about different memory care options. I'm simply here to kind of direct them, kind of give them a next step, and just kind of educate them through this disease process. I like to think of myself as more of like an internal advocate for the families. So not only are we caring for our residents, but we're also thinking of the families and what they need for their support and their emotional well-being as well. I sit down with them, I consult, and I come up with what their needs are and definitely assess what different needs that they have and if they're appropriate for our community, and show them all about Arden Courts and give them a tour of our community and show them our services. So yeah, that's what I do there.
You know what? It's always a pleasure to work with people in our industry. And the one thing that is absolutely required is a passion and compassion to work and serve other people. And I'd like Justine to just kind of take a moment and go through your career path.
Sure.
Yes.
So actually, at a young age, I had a grandmother that had dementia.
Yes.
So I kind of was able to witness at a very young age how my parents cared for my grandmother. And we had a very special bond. We actually shared the same birth date. And I was the only one out of the family that she did remember. So at that young age, I wanted, to be able to spark memories and stuff like that, which transitioned me to Arden Courts. So I was a caregiver there for about 5 years. I found a lot of compassion in caring for our residents, making them smile at least once a day. That's what you got to do, and that's how you know you did your job. Right. And then I actually transitioned my career to the activity department. I found a passion in activities and being there to help socialize and engage them and stimulate their minds in a different way. And now I'm on a new journey to helping these families. I think that oftentimes we're so focused on the residents, but we're not focused on the families as well.
So true. So it's the whole family is so impacted when they make that step to go to a memory care facility, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's important. And I can tell just by Justine's heart and what we talked about and the way we talked about it this morning, she's one of those people that can guide a family through because it becomes a crisis.
Sure.
We were talking about, if the mom or dad need some additional help, they can no longer live at home. The family is looking at this and they're afraid. They don't know where to start. And Justine's just a person to take them through to start that journey.
Thank you.
So let's maybe start off by kind of talking about the facility, the layout there at Arden Courts.
Sure.
Is it a standalone facility or is it part of a continuum of care community?
We are a standalone community, so memory care is all that we do.
So you specialize in
Yes.
that. Yeah. Now, is it all on one level?
Yes, we are on one level. The building design actually took about 5 years for them to create. They wanted to make sure that everything was put in place for someone that had memory impairment and wanted to make sure that they're successful and that they thrive in their community.
Is memory care, is the memory care area, well, let me ask this. Are the residence rooms private or shared?
They are private. We often encourage families to make it as home-like as possible, bring in pictures that remind them of home, any trinkets or antiques that they love and that will give them a sense of comfort. Even if there's a certain smell, a lot of times people don't associate a smell like maybe, fresh cookies, and maybe, you can find that scent and recreate that scent to make them feel more like they're at home.
Very good. Now, what do you do with all the trinkets and stuff that you get from the families?
Well, we decorate their rooms with it, or we put them in their memory boxes, their shadow boxes in their room.
Oh, see, and that's what I was getting at. These shadow boxes are so important. We were going through some history of WRMN. I was showing Justine some of that, and some of the memories it brought back to me. And this is exactly what Justine tries to accomplish over at Arden Courts is the recreation of a person's life. So when so that they have these special memories.
Yep.
Well, and it seems that, first of all, unless you have a loved one that is suffering from dementia, you don't realize all of the necessary steps that need to be taken. So if you start yourself going down that path, people like Justine are the perfect person to call, because like I said, there's boxes you won't check that you think you've got everything covered and you're not. But you're right. I like the idea, because as I understand it, people with dementia, there's certain things that can trigger at different times. So as many different little bullet points that you can put in there as part of their journey, I would assume helps, right?
Sure. Yes. It actually creates, like you said, those memories. It will create a sense of familiarity. So if they're in the community and they feel lost, they'll associate their memory box with their home, and then they kind of go from there. So it cues them actually to have that security.
I remember years back, we were visiting there at your place, and someone's the husband had brought the residents' artwork and put on the wall, and that was it was some amazing. I mean, she had shows and all. It was an amazing art collection, and I thought that is so neat to be surrounded by her art.
Now, I'd like to ask this. Justine had mentioned it took 5 years of design to create this wonderful memory care facility. Can you tell me why it took 5 years?
It took 5 years because it was designed by dementia experts. Like I said, they wanted to make sure that their residents are successful in their community. One of the features that we have at Arden Courts is actually our walking courtyard, which has our gardens. I'm sure you guys have heard of it or seen it.
Yeah.
What's special about that is that the residents are able to freely walk. It promotes exercise, which essentially releases endorphins for them to feel good, for them to, have decreased anxiety, natural sunlight. All of these things are therapeutic benefits to someone that does have a diagnosis of dementia of some sort. And the reason why there's a safe and secure walkway is so a lot of times during the disease process, they actually have different spatial perception now, and so they lose their peripheral vision. So they can actually see the road in front of them. They can't see anything else. So it actually cues the brain to continue to keep walking. It continues them to be able to be free and to be able to have that independence again.
So a lot of things have changed over the years in memory care facility design. And what Justine just described is remarkable, and it really took a lot of thought, because what we find in the industry, especially dealing with people that are suffering from dementia, is the old way of taking care of people was to put them in a room and they would just stay there, and it was
barricade them.
Yeah, she would
for the
barricade
lack
them.
of a better way. That was the old
That's
school.
That's it. Now, Arden Courts, you have this wonderful facility that can take that tension, the depression, all the anxiety away from them by allowing them to roam free within let's say a free area. It's like a free range area.
Yeah. Now, if someone has early onset dementia and maybe is physically fit, are there things like little tasks they can do during the day that they may enjoy, that like fill the bird feeder or whatnot, get them involved in the goings on of the day?
Yes, absolutely. So we do have various programs that our community offers. They have up to 10 hours of programming a day, which they can pick and choose what they want to be involved in. A lot of them get a schedule, and then our staff cues them and reminds them throughout the day on what is going on. So not only do they have a group programming, but they also have, we do encourage individual pursuits. So if they love to, fill the bird feeders, if they love to change out the bird bath water. Some of them love to fold and do laundry. A lot of them were housewives, and that's what they love. That's what they were familiar with. It creates a sense of purpose again inside of them, and they actually feel like they're being successful. And so a lot of with the changes in the brain, they don't feel that, because you can still fold a napkin, you can still fold laundry, you can still do these tasks. It's just somebody that needs to kind of be that starter button to encourage them to be able to do these things.
So it's obviously the point is having a better quality of life. Is there any kind of study that shows that this can slow a process, or that this can anything like that by having this kind of encouragement in their day-to-day routines?
There are different studies that do show that, giving the quality of life will make them more successful. It may, kind of steady the disease process. Unfortunately, obviously, there are declines that happen, but it's important to give them that quality of life and make them feel good in the moment. It's all about the moment, and each moment changes, and you kind of just go with those changes with them.
Awesome.
And with these
That's great.
activities, the studies have been done. It's actually a proven fact that one of our favorite sayings here is, you got to keep on moving.
Yep.
You got to keep on moving. You got to get the blood going through your system, going through your brain. And what Arden Courts has done is they've recognized this. And people also need to feel important. When somebody has dementia, okay, doesn't mean they're stuck in that loss of memory situation 24/7. They're in and out of this concept of loss of memory, right? So it makes them feel important to be able to do these tasks and chores. I know I can feel it now, the pleasure I would get from feeding the birds and watching the birds.
Can you maybe describe for us on the interior of the building, kind of the layout and the use of colors and themes that you have that helps them stay oriented a bit?
Sure. So as we mentioned before, we are all one floor, and we kind of have an indoor corridor, which is designed like a square. We are more of like a home-like environment, so you won't see anything too clinical. We want our residents to feel very much like at home. We do have a color scheme. So each house has a different color scheme. So it has an cue of what the house is called. So they also, if they cannot no longer read, they can associate it with the color of the hallway. So a lot of times they won't become, confused or a little bit more agitated because they can't find their way through the community. They'll sense the color, and they'll be able to move throughout there without feeling threatened or anything like that. The colors are muted, so it's not anything that will kind of increase the stimulation or anything like that. And then with the indoors, we do have kind of a walking path on the indoors. So each house has a house porch in front of it, which is really kind of cool. It actually resembles the outdoors. So obviously a day like today, our residents are not outdoors.
Right.
I wouldn't be.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So actually they're able to walk freely on the indoors as well. So they're getting that exercise indoors, and there is a clear pathway for them to walk on the inside as well.
And you've got all sorts of neat things around that square, don't you?
Yes. Actually, we do have a little historical section in one of our windows. It has downtown Geneva, which is really special. And a lot of our folks that live in our community have grown up in Geneva and love to, reminisce about the facts of Geneva and stuff like that. We also do honor our veterans. We do have a lot of veterans in our building. So they love, going there and seeing that they're honored as well for their service that they've done.
And that is so important, especially to the generation of the people we're caring for. You have World War II, Korean War, and now our early Vietnam veterans are aging and entering the last of the baby boomers.
Yep.
So when you refer to a house, it's more like a wing, isn't it? Like comes off from the main square.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does do your residents can they walk through the whole building?
Absolutely. Their whole
Okay.
building is their home.
Okay.
So even if they are not from a certain area, they're still allowed to go visit. A lot of them have friends that live in different houses, and they're all structured the same. So they all have, the dining room set up, the caregiver set up, the kitchen. We do run off of like a medical model. So, we're giving breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and hydration in between as well.
And so they eat their meals and have the little sitting area. Just each house has its own independent little area
Correct.
for that, don't they? Yeah. So cool.
I like the historical aspect of that too. When you were talking about having pictures of Geneva, a lot of people when they look for memory care, it's usually in the locale that they were brought up in.
Yes.
So do you find that?
I do. We do find that. It is very important to them, and families have a sense of comfort knowing that in the past that's what they would have wanted. That's where they would have wanted.
No, you mentioned something about the natural lighting. Why is that important in your design?
Natural lighting is everything. It is. It decreases the anxiety. It makes them more calm. They don't feel institutionalized. They want to see the outdoor life. In your home, in my home, I see, the roads. I see and hear the noises. I watch the wildlife outdoors, and that's what they're familiar with. That's a therapeutic benefit to them. So it is very important that when they're looking for a community that they try to see as their natural sunlight and stuff like that.
So let's dig a little deeper, if it's okay, in some of your activities.
Sure.
Now, I think I visited there, and I think I saw once, I know when I was through there, that you kind of do multi-generational things, right? You have
Yes.
younger people come sometime.
Absolutely. We are big on intergenerational events. So there's something about kids that just spark a sense of smile in them, laughter. They oftentimes revert back to those ages. And so it is really nice that the community, Geneva, gets together with the local schools, and they come and they do different community projects together. I know in November, we had fourth graders that came. So it is a mutual rewarding experience. We taught the fourth graders the benefits of donations and kind of helping out the community. So we made blessing bags for those that are less fortunate, and our residents were able to help the fourth graders do that. And so it is giving them a sense of purpose again. They're helping their community, they're helping the children, they're teaching the children a message, and the children are able to take that and learn throughout their years.
That's all part of having that special heart. Some of those ideas, it takes special people to sit down and think about what's important to both generations. So not only were they helping and seeing the need to help the older generation, but the older generation actually took part in helping the younger generation.
It's not just sticking to a curriculum; it's making a difference, and that's the part that'll stay in the brain of the fourth graders.
Exactly, those physical impacts that you're participating in.
Yeah,
Their grandparents might not live in the area or whatnot, so they get to see these.
they
these
do.
folks, don't they?
Oftentimes these kids are saying, they look forward to their monthly visits. They're so excited to go to Arden Courts. They write letters to our residents and stuff like that. So it does make a difference for them as well. And the fact that they spend, their time in their school time with us makes a difference in the community.
How about the families of your residents? Do you have any activities that?
Absolutely. So our motto is actually the more the merrier. We want the families to come, and they can join the activities as well. I know a lot of times with this disease process, sometimes their visits are not as what they plan it to be. They expect a little bit of different expectations from their loved one. We always encourage them, come to the activities, come see them in the light that we see them in. Sometimes, like I said before, we have to be that starter button and get them to engage and participate. And when they do come to these activities, the families are able to see them in a different light. We also do host all types of events. We have parties, Christmas parties. It is not only our residents' home, it becomes a whole circle of care, actually. So it's our families become our family too.
Did you have any support group type
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So we do have a support group that is held once a month, and it is free to the community.
Uh-huh.
Fox Valley Hands of Hope runs it in our building, and it is
Okay.
on every second Tuesday of the month from 1 to 2:30 p.m.
Second Tuesday, 1 to 2:30. Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I wanted to ask, so if somebody was at home, or a family has mom or dad at home, and they're wondering right now, we think, mom or dad is starting to have some memory loss. How does a family start this journey in looking to Arden Courts?
Honestly, it starts with the phone call. It starts with the phone call, and then
Mhm.
from there we have a conversation, and I invite
Mhm.
them into the community. And even if it is a, urgent need or just a need that they're just kind of planning for in the future,
Mhm.
we want to be there every step of the way. We want to be able to educate as much as possible, and just kind of show them what we do as a community. And if we're not the right fit for whatever reason, for any source, we work really closely with all the other communities in the area. This is a team effort, and we want what's best for the resident and what the families are comfortable with as well. So we'll always give a next step. We're always here to help every step of the way.
Is there ever opportunity to, if you have capacity for kind of a respite stay, to have a trial run at how it would be?
Absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of families are interested in respite stays. If they're not comfortable making that permanent commitment, and they just kind of want to see how will, their loved one acclimate to the
Mhm.
environment, that is an option as well. So we do have something like that that's set up, or families will go on vacation. Sometimes the caregiver needs a break too, right?
Yeah.
So
Very,
we're here
very
to
true.
be able to support when they're, they need that break.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so for people that may need that, who do they call?
Well, they can call Arden Courts of Geneva, and they can call me. Our phone number is actually 630-262-3900. We're actually located on the corner of Britchell and Randall Road in Geneva, Illinois.
And that's the landmark there is the Geneva Commons
is.
Mall across the street,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Now, Arden Courts is at least in industry, a very well-known name.
Absolutely.
Is Arden Courts of Geneva the only one in the area?
No, we are not the only one in the area. We actually have been around for 18 years. We were essentially like a pillar in the community. We were kind of the original memory care, but there are other facilities in the area too as well that we can help direct them to.
Okay, so if anybody's listening from Glen Ellen area
Sure.
or Elk Grove area.
Yes.
Okay.
So we do have 6 Chicagoland areas. So there's a Geneva building, Glen Ellen building, Elk Grove Village building, a Palos Heights,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Palos Heights. I forgot that one.
Northbrook building, and then also South Holland.
Oh,
Mhm.
South
Very
Holland.
good.
Mhm.
So, we were talking about the importance of families and the locale. So Arden Courts, and if you have any questions, I'm sure Justine, you'll be able to
Absolutely.
answer or direct them to where they might be interested.
Absolutely.
And how about a website? Does that come to mind? A website
Sure.
address for you guys?
Our website is actually arden-courts.com.
So give us that phone number again to reach you at.
The
Justine.
phone number is 630-262-3900.
Thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you so much.
Justine, thank you for being our guest today.
The perfect home. We all dream of it. And in that dream, we love our living space. We take leisurely strolls in a safe neighborhood, and we socialize with neighbors who quickly become good friends. Yet at no time in our lives is the search for the perfect home more important than when we need memory care. Fortunately, for many with Alzheimer's and related dementias, Arden Courts is proving to be their perfect home. What makes Arden Courts so special? For starters, Arden Courts was built specifically for those with memory loss. It's not simply a dementia unit, locked hall or wing like some other facilities. It's an extensively researched, well-designed, secure, and simple home-like environment. Our staff is extensively trained and has experience in caring for all types and stages of memory impairment. Ongoing training keeps us up to date on caregiving techniques. And since Arden Courts was created exclusively for individuals living with memory loss, we're able to provide specialized activities that best meet their individual interests and needs. Our structured programming is planned and supervised by our expert and caring staff, and designed to promote a sense of independence and individuality, while also catering to our residents' health and well-being. Our residents enjoy the many meaningful and engaging activities we have to offer, as well as socializing with friends, their personal living space, visiting with family, and being able to move freely throughout our Arden Courts community, both indoors and outdoors, without ever leaving a secure environment. If you're looking for a warm, friendly, familiar, and safe home for your loved one, it's time to visit an Arden Courts near you.
The bottom line is it was the absolute right choice to go on board with Right at Home.
Right at Home truly gives me the right care.
With Right at Home, I get some respite from some things to go on out and just do silly things for me.
Our services are unreal. We change someone's quality of life every day.
I've had a good relationship with Right at Home. They're very, very professional. You could count on them. They were dependable.
We look at every case based on the individual needs of the client or the individual situations that a family needs to accommodate as they're trying to care for their loved one.
We've got each other, and we have help from Right at Home, and things are going quite well.
We go above and beyond with the extra attention to the details of that individual.
This gives me an opportunity to be in my own home and enjoy the memories I have in that home.
I really think we're living out our remaining years the way we would want to.
I'm allowing families and their loved ones to be able to live their lives to the fullest.
The right care, right at home.